Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is going to be this week's plant update where I'll give you all the amazing updates from the past week on all my plants, my inside plants, and then we'll go outside and I'll show you all my outside plants and see how they have come over the past week. So let's get started. We are going to start with the Easter cactuses, which I only have 2 left now because the one that I showed you last week has died. I don't understand it, but sometimes that just happens. And we have to go from there. So here's this big guy right here who is doing quite well actually. And if you wanted to like replace it, all you would have to do is take one of these leaves, cut it off, and then put it in the soil, and that'd be it. And then we got this Easter cactus right here. As you can tell, the other one's gone. And this one right here is growing quite well. What I might do later on is fill the cup that I emptied with new soil and take one of these leaves right here, just snip it off at the sections and just replace it right there. I really want to have another one right there. We'll just have to wait and see. Because it still has time for it to grow and process like that. Because these won't bloom until around Easter time. So we have plenty of time to think about if I want to replace it or not. So now we're moving on to the Christmas cactuses here. And you can see we got this beautiful big cactus and we got this one that I put in here. It's very, very tiny right now. It looks like it's growing quite well. So yeah, everything is looking good. It's got new leaves coming in, which is what I want to see right now. It's mid-October right now. It's still not cold enough for me to start putting them in a dark spot yet, in a cold spot yet. So until it gets a little bit colder, like in the 60s, then I will put them in the coldest area of the house. Right now in Florida, it stays above 70, so it's not really cold enough for me to start putting it in a cold area overnight. So right now, it's not cold enough for me to do that. So here's this Christmas cactus who is growing quite well. We got some new leaves coming in, which is always exciting to see. This guy is gonna be beautiful. I cannot wait to see the buds this year. This is the Christmas cactus. All 3 of these were just one in one pot when I bought them a year or 2 ago, and they're still doing great. So then here's this one. Yeah, these 2 small ones that I showed you and the big one I showed you, they were originally in one pot. So I kind of split them up so they had a chance to grow. Yeah, because you don't want such a big plant cramped in a container like that. Which usually what I would do is I would wait after they finished blooming and then separate them so they would have more space to grow. That's what I would recommend if you buy one that has buds or there's chances it's going to bloom around Christmas time. I would wait till after the blooming season is over, then separate them into their individual pots. So now we're going to go to my aloe. As you can see, I cut the other one off because it was dying and I didn't want it to infect this one, because this one seems to be doing quite well. It's got a new leaf growing right there, so this one seems to be doing quite well. The other one was dying from its roots, so I just had to cut it off so it wouldn't affect this little one that I have growing right now. So yeah, that was fun. So now we're gonna move on to my orchids. As you can see, we got this one right here. It has this nice leaf coming in. It has this beautiful flower spike coming in. Everything is looking good for it so far. I don't see any reasons why it won't continue to grow. It gets plenty of water. It gets plenty of sunlight. I fertilize it every 2 weeks, which at the end of this video, I will show you all the fertilizers that I use, and I will have links for them in the description below in case you would like to check them out. So then we got this one right here, has this beautiful leaf growing, has this nice flower spike that's staying around, and the root system is looking amazing right now. So then we got this guy right here, this tiny little guy that has a very tiny flower spike right now. It hasn't shown me any signs that it's going to grow another one or it's going to go from this one yet. We just have this nice beautiful leaf We have this aerial roots that wants to keep growing in the air. So everything is looking good. The root system is looking good. I don't have any worries about the root system at this point. Everything is looking good with that. And what I do is when I need to change the water or I'm going to fertilize them, what I would do is I would take them out of their pots. I will check the root system very thoroughly with my fingers, make sure they're all healthy roots, and I'll cut off the dead ones so that it's not going to affect the orchid anymore with having like dead roots and everything. That's what I do every time I change the water or I change them into fertilized water for an hour. That's what I do. I check the root system every single time. Then we got this big guy right here. Oh my goodness, look at this flower spike. It's still going. It's still going. It's got this nice big leaf, but it is losing this leaf right here. I'm not too worried about that at this point. The lower leaves will yellow and fall off on their own, so I'm not too worried. If it was like one of the top leaves, then I would have reason for concern, but since it's just the middle leaf, I'm not really that too much concerned about it. So you will lose leaves every year or two depending on your orchid, so everything's going good with this guy. I got these aerial roots right here that want to grow out. That's the thing with Phalaenopsis orchids, you are going to want to have plenty of space for them to grow because their aerial roots will grow like that. They'll grow outside the pot and into the air and take over wherever you have them stored at the moment. And here is my baby orchid. This is the smallest of my collection. Everything is looking good. We got the leaf growing, we got the roots growing. I don't see any signs of distress. I don't see any signs that it's going to grow any flower specks at this point. Right now, I just want it to focus on its root system and its leaves, and then when it's ready, it will grow some flower spikes. So I'm not really worried about this guy growing flower spikes at this point. And then here is my last Phalaenopsis orchid. As you can see, there's no changes in the leaves at this point, but there's lots of changes in the roots because the roots are growing quite well. I got another root that's going downward that's growing. And I got 2 roots in the water, which is what I want. Because if you've been here a while, you know that I only had that 1 root in the water. Now I have 2, so that's good. So now we are going to go outside. I'm going to show you my aloe plants, because I have a few outside, my poinsettias, and my rosebush, and we'll see how they are doing. Okay guys, here is the mother aloe plant right there. As you can see, she's growing new leaves, and all of her 6 babies are growing quite well. They're all growing quite nicely. We got some big ones, we got some small ones. But that's the thing, when you have one aloe plant, they will grow up to 12 babies a year. So definitely be seeing new growth around wherever the big mother aloe is. You're going to see babies all around her. Because that's what she's going to do. She's going to grow about 12 babies a year. I have 6 out here currently, so I got half of her babies so far. And what I like to do is, like when I have ones that I have inside and they die off for some reason, I'll just come out here and I'll pick another one and I'll put it inside. That's basically what I do. Here is my poinsettia, who is doing quite well. It has leaf growth. Right now we're not going to do anything to make it go into bloom because it's not supposed to bloom until around Christmas time. And then I have this one. And as you can see, it has died. So, it has died. So this is my only one left, which I'm really, really excited for. There is my rosebush. As you see, it's starting to die off, but it looks like these are growing. These right here are growing some new leaves. So what I'll probably do is I'll water these guys to make sure they have water, because it hasn't watered in a few days. So I'm going to water them and see what happens from there. So I'm really, really excited about this. Okay guys, that was my plants outside, and now I'm going to show you the fertilizers I use for each plant and a thermometer that I use for my orchids to make sure that the air, the AC, or the heater is not making them too hot or too cold. So first we're going to start with the rose fertilizer. This is Miracle Grow. I love Miracle Grow. They are not sponsoring this video, but I do love them. This is the fertilizer I use for the roses that I do every 2 weeks. So So that's what I do for roses. This is the one, again, Miracle Grow. I do this one for my aloe plant and my Christmas and Easter cactuses and the poinsettia. That is the one I use for them. I also use their soil, which is moisture control, so it waters your plant as it's needed, which is what I use for my indoor plants. So now we're gonna get to the orchids. This is the one that I use for when it's just growing leaves and roots. This is the one I use for that. And then this is a bloom booster. This is what I use when my orchids are in flower spike or they have buds or flowers on them. And what I do with this is I get containers from my kitchen, just regular Tupperware containers that will hold some of my orchids. I put this in rainwater or distilled water, whichever you have. And I set the orchids in this mixture for 1 hour, then I take them out, and then if I have to change the water, I change the water. So I just sit in this for an hour every 2 weeks. So that's what I do. And my orchids seem to be liking that, but it's your orchids. You know what's best for your plants. So I would say you just do what you believe is best for your plants. And don't do something that you're unsure of without researching it completely. So then this is a little thing that I use for my orchids. It has the temperature, so you know the current temperature around your orchids and you know the humidity level. I love this because for inside orchids, I found that you gotta have a humidity level at least of 42%. Currently it's 49, so everything is good for the humidity level. That way you can kind of keep an eye on that during the year, which I love. It's made my life so much easier because with my AC unit, it doesn't tell me the correct temperature in the house. So having this around my orchids, telling me the current temperature around them, makes it better. That way I know it's not too cold for them and it's not too hot for them either. So it's always a good thing to have. Again, all the links to everything I have showed you will be in the description below in case you want to check it out. This is stuff that I use. I wouldn't recommend you anything that I don't use first. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it, share to grow our community, subscribe if you're new here. I do these videos every single Tuesday, and hit that bell so you're always notified when I put out new videos, and I'll see you guys next week.